You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
You work very hard, you save, you get to retirement. You think you've got the right spending plan in place, and then it turns out, this is research-based, Frankie. Turns out people are saying it's not working out the way that they had planned for it to, and people are actually even having to cut back, which breaks my heart. This is not what we want to see for our retirees of America, having to cut back their spending in retirement. So that is what we are going to talk about here today. I'm Heather Branch. This is Frankie Guida, certified financial planner and of A Better Way Financial, here to empower you with information, share some of his knowledge. In fact, let's quickly remind folks about your new book, Frankie, A Better Way to Retire. When did this get published? Did it get published about not even 2 months ago?
Yeah, it was like earlier this year. It was not that long ago, just a few months ago.
You know what I appreciate? The size of the font in here. Because for those of us who need these reader glasses now, you don't have to squint your way through it. But also, it's just a little over 100 pages, a quick and easy read, a place to, again, to get more information for your financial future. We've got a link posted for it up on the website, abetterwayfinancial.com. Click on the media tab. Everybody who comes into the office for an appointment does get a complimentary copy of the book, but you can get more information about how to get your hands on the book, abetterwayfinancial.com. Click on the media tab, or you can click on the link we've got posted to the show notes that will take you to our website. All right. So spending in retirement, we all want to do it. We want to have a great time. And for those who are planning their retirement income and spending plans on their own, this is worth noting. There was a study done recently talking to people. They've been retired they've new retirees. They've retired within the last 5 years, Frankie. It found only 40% of respondents say that their spending plan is working. 21% say they're having to cut back. So this not only underscores the importance of income planning, but perhaps how we need to have a spending plan alongside that income plan. What are the common things you see people doing wrong that could be leading us to circumstances like this?
Well, I think the first and foremost thing is not having a plan. If you don't have an income plan showing you that you can spend comfortably without running out of money, then you're likely going to short sell yourself. You're not going to spend as much as you might be able to because you're worried that you're going to run out. And if you don't actually have the numbers ran for you to show you, hey, financially you can retire, you can live on just as much income as you had coming in when you were working. If you don't have that, then you're gonna err on the cautious side and perhaps leave a lot of money on the table and not spend the way that you want to in your retirement years. Because having done this with so many families, what I've seen is people aren't looking to spend tens of thousands of dollars, 20s of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars more in their retirement. They're looking to basically have the same amount of income that they had coming in when they were working. Most people
maintain the lifestyle. Yeah,
exactly. They want to have the same lifestyle that they had going into retirement. Not many people want to go, all right, well, now that I'm retired, now I want to cut it back $20,000, $30,000 a year. They want to have the same lifestyle they had before. But if they don't have that plan drawn up, if they don't have something showing them that they can get the same amount of income that they had coming in before, a lot of times what we'll see is people are nervous. They're either going to keep on working even though they might not want to, or they're going to spend less because they don't know that they can spend more. And having that empowerment in your retirement showing you that you can actually spend more than what you thought you could, that can really bring a lot of life into your retirement, a lot of excitement into that transition, because it is a transition.
Right.
It is going from having work every single week on and on and on and on, and then now you're not having that work. You're having something different. You're having to fill that time with something that you want to do in your retirement, because now you have that selection of how do I want to spend my time now that I'm retired.
Okay.
And so having that selection, having that decision to make, and knowing going into that decision that financially you can retire, you can get that same amount of income, it just takes an incredible weight off of your shoulders. You don't have to worry about, am I going to be able to make it? Am I going to be able to spend the way that I'm spending now? And a big thing that we see is that a lot of people don't have enough fixed income. So let's say you need $80,000 of income coming in, and maybe your Social Security is only providing $50,000. Well, you're at a fixed income deficit of about $30,000. So you want to look into ways to be able to provide for that $30,000 of income. And if you don't have a strategy for that, well, then that's something you want to discuss with a financial planner. How do I make sure that I can get that extra $30,000 of income?
Okay.
These are the types of things that we look into. How do we build it so that you're getting enough fixed income? How do we make sure that you're not taking too much risk going into your retirement? Because if you're taking too much risk and then there's a stock market crash, well, now you can't get the same level of income from your portfolio that you could before the crash. So that's a concern.
Is that hence the fixed income element? This is where things the asset allocation works together.
Yes, absolutely. The way that the assets are allocated, if you have too much on the market risk side and then the market crashes, well, it's going to be a lot harder to get that income out of that piece of the portfolio.
Yeah.
What about inflation? You want to make sure that that $80,000 of income that you need, that's going to be $100,000 in just 5 to 10 years. So if you don't have a plan in place for how you're going to get that extra income, then you could be losing out and potentially risk going back to work or not having the ability to spend the amount of money that you're looking to. And so these are the types of things that we look into. You want to make sure that you have a plan for your retirement and for your income in your retirement. And so before you make that transition, if you haven't retired yet, the way that you can get a hold of us to be able to have that conversation and see what we can do to start putting a plan in process for your retirement is if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more, feel free to click on the link in the show notes, and we're going to be able to set up a time to get together and just really talk about where you're at with your retirement, what savings you've put together, what we can do to try to make sure that you're getting the same amount of income while you're working in your retirement as well. And maybe if we do everything right, we might be able to get more income out of that portfolio, out of that hard-earned savings that you've done. And so that's what our purpose is. We want to be able to show you the strategies you can use to be able to get the most out of your retirement savings. So click on that note below and we'll be able to set up a time to get together. But this is something that was done recently. We recently had a couple come in and we were talking about what we could do for their plan. They were in a similar situation that we just talked about. They needed roughly about $80,000 of income coming in every single year. But when they retired, they only had about $67,000 of income. So they needed to get more income out of their portfolio. And what we did is we set aside about $267,000 of the portfolio, so a portion of the portfolio, roughly about a quarter of it, and use that to get the extra $13,000 of income after taxes. And so with that small piece of the portfolio, they were able to get that $80,000 of income every year. But they still had the other 75% of the portfolio to be able to protect them from inflation because the cost of living is going to continue to go up. We've seen gas prices, we've seen oil prices continue to go up. I drove by, it was like almost $4 today. It was insane.
It's wild.
And I'm like, what is happening here?
And so also, it's something, it proves how fast things can change. And hopefully those prices are going to come back down. But when you think about somebody who's hopefully going to be retired 20, 30, some people even 40 years, how all these moving parts happen. And you want to make sure that you've got protected income despite those things.
Yeah, and if you don't have a plan to be able to get you the extra income when you need it, that's going to be a problem. And the thing about inflation is it's not like prices go down. What happens is when the inflation rate is going down, it just means it's not growing as fast.
Right.
And so it continues to cost more and more every single year. And so we need to make sure that our money is continuing to bring in more and more income each and every year so that we don't feel that hit of the prices going up. We need to make sure that we're still having the same standard of living because nobody wants to retire and then have to shrimp and save in their retirement. They want to be able to enjoy it. They want to be able to, do the things that they want to do. This is what you saved for, is for your retirement. And so for this example, we were able to say, hey, this is what we're going to be able to do to take care of those income needs. We looked into their investments. We showed them over the past 25 years by setting up the portfolio with their recommendations, they would have averaged about a 1% higher rate of return, which on the $1.1 million they had was over $10,000 on average per year of a higher rate of return, which means that that's going to be more income that they can get out of their portfolio. And by having everything set up from the right perspective, we also looked into how much could they spend if they wanted to spend more. And in their particular circumstances, they could spend $7,000 more than what they were currently spending each and every year for the rest of their lives. So instead of that $80,000 that they wanted, they can go up to $87,000 have an extra $7,000 every single year going up for inflation each year for the rest of their lives.
Nice.
And so find out what that number is for you. Maybe it's only $5,000. Maybe it's $10,000. Maybe it's $20,000. But let us run the numbers. If you're planning to retire soon and you don't know if you're going to be able to retire or when you're going to be able to retire, how much income you can live on in your retirement, let us run the numbers for you. Click on the link in the show notes, and we're going to be able to set up a time to be able to go into your specific financial plan personally made for you, where we're going to look into what we can do to be able to get the income that you need in your retirement years. And so we're going to put together a complimentary retirement income plan. If you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 more for your retirement, click on the link below, and we'll be able to set up a time with you.
Frankie, we started off with this survey. We were saying 40% say their spending plan is working. So that means 60%, the majority of these respondents, have a spending plan that is not working. Don't be part of that majority, especially knowing that the team at A Better Way Financial, folks like Frankie Guida, they're here to help you build out a plan so that you can spend with confidence, the confidence you deserve to have in retirement. This is what Frankie and the entire team at A Better Way Financial are doing every single day. They're ready to do for you as well. Reminder again, you can click on the links we've got posted in the show notes. Let's get to work helping you create your income and spending plan. You can also just go to the website anytime. It's abetterwayfinancial.com.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.